apologies about the delay, and I'll hold my hands up. This one time, it was not Tyler's fault. We got the information that Shaxy had disappeared, but he did re-enter reality again, so we do have him back, and we should be ready to go into this match now. We've seen the deck list, there's nothing else to look at. It was pretty much like looking at one deck list anyway, because they're exactly the same.
That's exactly right. Yeah, while playing this rogue, I thought Vanish had been moved to the Hall of Fame, but Shaxy using it there just before his match. That sounded much better in my head.
That fizzled out very quickly.
Yes, going into this game here, like I said, a complete mirror match, at least in game one. And I don't anticipate that either player will be switching to their tertiary or secondary decks. They seem to be anti-warrior and anti-mage for both players. So it is going to be, like you said, good old honest mirror match.
It is. We're going to go straight into it as the players are good to go. Evil Miscreant kept for Tyler, but I believe, if I glance correctly, Shaxy is on the coin, which makes a nice big difference, especially with double Blink Fox. Along with that backstab means Shaxy can get some decent tempo and push some damage himself, and the Vendetta, oof. Okay.
Blink Fox, contrary to the recently updated Pilfer, still reads add a card from your
Oh,
opponent's class.
right, it won't puck Vendetta. Yeah.
Yes. I'm pretty sure.
Why didn't they update Blink Fox, Derek?
I'm not sure.
Get a Blizzard confirmation, please, as to why that is the case. But until then, we'll be fine.
Speaking of being fine, Shaxy's fine. Yeah. Better than fine. Coin Miscreant. Profit. That's the two-step plan of Rogue. There's obviously some consideration to whether you backstab this Novice Engineer for Shaxy, because it does stop Shadow Step into Miscreant as a possibility, but I think if Tyler had the Shadow Step, he would have Shadow Stepped it straight away.
So 100% guarantee the Novice into Miscreant the turn after.
Exactly, so I think it was the correct play for Shaxy to hold on to the backstab.
You can see as well, Shaxy, we're not really dove too deeply into discussions, but Shaxy being 10-2 means that this match is arguably more important for Tyler than it is for Shaxy. Shaxy, if he stays ahead, I think he ends up being first.
I think he's first
anyway.
No matter what.
So because of that, it means that he's got his bye in the playoffs. He's okay.
Yeah.
So really for Tyler, he's the one who really needs to win this match to be able to stay with any chance of getting to top 3 and getting one of those other spots that's available in Division B.
Yes. Again, I'll have to do the tiebreakers exactly. I think if Tyler loses, there might be a way he makes it through, but it's very slim. Yeah. Getting the win here is pretty key.
Yeah, he will. And anyone who's fighting for a top 3 spot, just you always want to 2-0, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason why anyone would ever be okay with, lose one, it's fine. It's like, no, you really need to 2-0.
Yes, I think if Tyler 2-0s, he actually locks himself into... Maybe. I can't remember.
Anyway.
I'll do the tiebreakers, but basically, yeah.
Tyler, match
he wants
important. Shaxy, match less important.
Yes, guaranteed first place, I believe, no matter what now.
A couple of decisions there. Betrayal just, well, I mean, okay. Technically gets the job done this turn.
It's like the worst arcane explosion I've ever seen.
Yeah. 3 mana arcane explosion as a 1-1 attached to it. I feel like with this art change, I've seen Deadly Shot more often now than I've ever have in
There's something
the history
about
of Hearthstone.
Yeah. Hearthstone's pushing it big time now.
I don't know what's really the play here. The secrets actually are just not too shabby.
Auto Defense Matrix is just like a good card. It's pretty reasonable. And like the way that this game is shaping out, I think Deadly Shot, if it had been a choice earlier in the game or a slightly different situation, it would have been the pick. But obviously with a couple of lackeys on board, it's just very unlikely to be good.
Right. Okay, so double Waggle pick in Shaxy's hand right now, along with the Wolves.
This is a tough
Foxes,
turn.
should I say.
Like, we could just see Waggle pick Matrix on this turn to set up for a powerful play next turn with something like double Blink Fox.
Maybe even a Life Drinker.
Yeah, maybe.
Nothing. For next turn, I mean.
It's probably got to be Cold Blood, but these are some pretty miserable options.
Yeah, Stolen Steel wouldn't look bad if you forgot the fact that there's 2 weapons in hand for Shaxy.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't, I think Stolen Steel would might just be okay there.
Stolen Steel is like one of the few ways that you have off of the faceless lackey option to activate your vendettas.
Yeah.
Pilfer's now been added to that pool with the recent change, which is why it can sometimes be picked, but yes, I think Cold Blood is just the best card there by quite a margin.
That is just where the game becomes weird, when your opponent's playing 1/1s that are threats but are 1/1s. It's like say you don't want to swing a waggle pick into this, but you need to equip waggle pick. You can't just keep passing and using a normal dagger because it's just taking up too much mana and too much time.
He passes. Wow, I was expecting that pick to go face. I have to be honest. Well, I don't have to be honest. I could lie, but I'm not going to.
I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to deceive you all. I didn't think that would go face. Haha. And it's the situation for both players now where they have these powerful 4 damage removal options in Pick and Vendetta, but they don't want to waste them on just one. So they're kind of sticking around with this incredibly powerful arsenal, but neither player is the first player to fire.
Oh. Fireballs.
Was it? No.
No,
it was never twisting. Yeah, this is the best.
It was
card.
never anything but damage to face from hand.
Yeah. I was just wondering, like, if he's in such a good spot anyway, should he pick the card which is just like the panic button in case he's losing? But
Well, sorry, I just started choking for no reason whatsoever. Jeez. Funnily enough, the fireball also acts like that, right? Because if there's if the board starts to run away from Tyler, the only thing he's really bothered about are bigger minions than the lackeys.
That's fair.
And big minions, well, you can fireball a minion. Fireball's a good removal tool as well as it is an aggro tool. So I think actually it just ticks both boxes anyway, without even saying, well, damage to face is strictly better than board removal. Fireball does both.
that backstab's insane. Vendetta, backstab, Edwin, swing face.
I thought you were just naming cards in hand.
I am. I'm doing
both.
both.
I would love that card.
A card called Swing Face.
Yeah. It'll be like Heroic Strike that could only go face, but it like equips damage on your portrait, but then your portrait just attacks face. You can't aim it. It's just Swing Face.
So it's like the beast within, but
yes,
the face within.
I would love that card.
Oh, wow, okay. Hold back on the stab. Is this worth it? This was 4 damage missed and +2/+2 missed for a backstab. Surely the swing face was better there, right?
This is a very difficult board for Tyler to deal with, isn't it?
Like, it's not even like he needs the Cold Blood to the backstab to activate Cold Blood next turn. We could just see Drinker and then Cold Blood, or Drinker Defense Matrix, or even just Defense Matrix Cold Blood. Like,
What if he draws Leroy? Then he can Leroy Cold Blood. That still fits. Not that you would randomly play Leroy, but I'm just saying, like,
I would have preferred to see the backstab come down there, because I can fully understand that he doesn't want to go too all in on the Edwin and have it be removed with the sap, but it's not even going that all in because he still gets a secondary benefit of 4 damage to face.
I wonder whether there's just a reasonable, not explanation, I don't know. If it's just good enough to just say, I'm going to play this a bit slower. Because, yes, he misses damage, but he gains a card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he misses a swing to face, but he gains a whole card. Like, that is in the mirror especially, is a pretty big deal.
Right. And if he wasn't playing Edwin on the turn, I would understand, but it's also +2/+2, which is a big difference.
That is true.
Because it's still weak to sap as a 6/6, and it's just much stronger against backstab Vendetta, on-toss Vendetta, although we can't really play around that. Fireball, which was in hand, like,
Yeah.
obviously you don't play around Fireball, but it's just more survivable against mystery stuff.
Okay, that one surprises me a little bit. In terms of, just saying emergency switches in games like this, I think Warpath was just pretty decent. Over a Discover a Battlecry minion.
To Shaxy's credit, I think backstabbing the Ziliax is actually exactly what he was looking to do, because looking at the rest of his hand, he didn't have a good answer to Ziliax. So I guess if Ziliax had come down, traded into the 3/3, You couldn't swing with the weapon because that would then bounce the Edwin.
The Edwin has to trade.
I mean, maybe in the case of exactly Ziliax, it was better.
And that was leaning towards my point of, was it just not bad enough to keep the backstab? You know, because you gain a card, you have a backstab, which is a very powerful card. Yes, your other stuff's a bit weaker, but is it weak to the extent that makes the play bad?
Yeah.
Right?
I still think that with a Cold Blood Life Drinker second Waggle Pick hand, every point of damage to face is very, very helpful. Having said that, it worked out pretty well for Shaxy here. I mean, it didn't because the Edwin died, but it wasn't disastrous.
The idea made sense.
Yes, yes.
Now, 1 mana Blink Fox. There is still that secret, the auto defense matrix. It does give a minion that's attacked into Divine Shield. Ooh. Well, I start adding up damage
Honestly,
when there's a Cold Blood
bad.
and it's striking it in my hand.
Yeah.
And there's a Waggle Pick. Wow.
However, even with all this damage that Shaxy has, Tyler has... well, Shaxy has a lower health total before this is played, and Tyler has a lot of damage himself, a crazy amount.
And most importantly, he has the Shark down, which means that this Life Drink is going to beat the other Life Drinker in a fight. He's going to flex all over that Life Drinker. Extra harms as well, being buffed at 2 mana.
Speaking of flexing.
You can really flex when you've got twice as many arms as your opponent.
Was that a joke about my broken arm, Raven?
It is now.
I could definitely use extra arms.
Real question. If you could gain the sort of Goro extra set of arms safely, you know, no, you literally just gain 2 extra arms.
Yes.
It doesn't hurt, it's just, would you?
Probably not.
Why? Isn't it not just strictly better? You can just do more stuff. You can lift heavy things, I would imagine. I don't know how the physics works.
Are they another copy of my sized arms, or super muscly core arms?
No, but
because I'm not strong at all, and an extra pair of my arms.
Do you become twice as strong if you can lift with 4 arms instead of 2, or does you like back muscles change things? I don't know.
It can't be exactly twice as strong.
Okay, stronger.
Stronger.
That's what I'm saying. What's the drawback?
I mean, you become. You cannot live a life of anonymity anymore. You would become
what if it was just like
a medical breakthrough?
Oh, if it was a thing.
If everyone has
not if everyone, but if everyone could choose, and it was just some people did, some people didn't. It's just lifestyle.
No, I like 2 arms.
Okay, that's definitely not a priest player.
It's in keeping with my life plan so far, which is just like perfectly unexceptional, just like average in every way.
Fantastic.
Should we talk about Hearthstone?
Yes, let's. And, it's so nuts. There's just so much damage from both players. This is often how the Rogue Mirror plays out, in that they both sort of poke each other, and then the damage in hand just really decides it very, very suddenly, with both players potentially doing stupid things, I'll say, to try and gain health or play it defensive enough to stay out of the potential reach of their opponent.
The pick up Shadow Step definitely helps in the life race that Shaxy is going for, and he will know that that's important, for sure.
And also, funnily enough, the reach also, like, what you consider reach from your opponent flies out the window when it's a Berg or Rogue Mirror.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can only play around what I know they have in their deck, but every other card.
He's wondering about Rat Trap. Oh my god. He's so
what a
lucky
nightmare card.
That card wasn't Rat Trap. If he swings face, though, with the Waggle Pick, then he activates the Misdirection.
Spicy.
Okay, well, he perfectly played around what it actually was. He did not perfectly play around Rat Trap, but I think he just had to pray that that wasn't the case.
He can't win if he doesn't play that many cards, right? So.
Yeah. Perdition's Blade here is pretty nuts for Tyler. Allows him to clear off the board, get damage face. It still doesn't even activate the auto defense matrix, and it just sets up for Leroy Fireball next turn to close things out.
Look at this as well. Just yeah, I like it. I like
3 mana, deal 2 damage. Sure.
Meets F5-7 agent, right?
Yeah.
Without the buddy.
Ooh. He can even go with Cold Blood on it. That's insane.
Wait, how? Is there any way you can do anything better though? He has 4/7 damage with Cold Blood. Let's see where this goes. Fine.
That's it dies, doesn't it? Yeah, because
that's the weapon.
Yeah. That's okay though. It's not too bad.
It could have been worse.
Does he feel like he has to go for the Cold Blood on the Ziliax? You probably just do, right? I think he's just he just puts himself miles in the lead if he does that.
Yeah.
Especially because if Ziliax is attacked into, it would gain Divine Shield again off of the auto defense matrix.
Yes.
Which is insane.
I would struggle to not want to play Ziliax this turn. If you're playing Ziliax, you may as well heal. And also, the weapon, plus the Sinister Strike, plus the turns of life you gain from playing the Ziliax, mean that you actually end up having more damage because you have more time to deal more damage.
Yeah. Giggling Inventor as well is a fantastic Battlecry minion to find. I like the pick over Alexstrasza.
Brave.
He's just leaving himself dead to SI7 agent here.
What?
Oh my god!
SI does it. What he...
Oh my god. Baziliax, he hovers over it at the end.
Okay. So he goes to... I think... Was Shaxy over considering the sap potential from Tyler to say...
Right.
But my question with that is, right, so you Ziliax Cold Blood, trade heal.
Heal for
great.
7.
Yeah, so you go up to, what, 15?
Yeah, I think it was 15 of that.
But then if Ziliax gets sapped...
Just play Ziliax again next turn, as long as you don't die.
Right, but like you're still not that likely.
You're dead. You're
die.
dead to. Oh no, you're dead to Sap plus Leroy because he had a 1 durability waggle pick, right?
Oh, okay.
So it dies to exactly. So I mean, although we kind of had a chuckle at Shaxy's expense there, because obviously you can't play around Fireball. That was a randomly generated.
What I said earlier, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
It's impossible to play around. And so I think, honestly, from Shaxy, now that we've got our laughs out of the way, I think going for the out of 2-card Sap Leroy, because Sap hadn't come down already from Tyler.
Neither player played Sap as far as
I don't think so. Yeah. So that was a more likely combo
than Fireball into SI.
It was probably just correct. It was probably just
That's
right.
why I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, you go to 15, what do you die from? So on, so on, so on. But anyway, that was just game number 1 of this mirror match between Tyler and Shaxy. Tyler taking it in a fairly unconventional way there, just with that help of that mage Fireball going on. But that was just game number 1. We got game number 2 coming right up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 심다솔입니다. 하스스톤 아이디는 리바이어스라는 아이디를 쓰고 있고 트위치에서는 다솔링이라는 아이디로 방송하고 있습니다. 그랜드마스터는 그냥 저한테 다시 한번 온 기회라고 생각을 해요. 아까도 말했다시피 월드 챔피언십을 좀 노렸다가 약간 아쉽게 못 가게 되었는데 이제 다시 한번 힘을 내서 그 높은 곳을 노릴 수 있는 약간 다시 한번 온 기회라고 생각합니다. 일단은 그래도 주기적인 리그가 생긴 거잖아요. 게임 리그가. 그래서 약간 점점 이게 하스스톤이 그러니까 발전해 나간다라는 느낌이 들어서 좀 더 이제 커가는 도약부라 해야 되나? 그런 게 될 것 같아요. 작년 같은 경우는 제가 약간 생각보다 좀 좋은 활약을 해서 좋은 기억이 많죠. 근데 그 중에서도 가장 기억에 남는 거는 역시 그 플레이오프 때 이기고 그 Fall 챔피언십 확정 지었을 때가 가장 기억에 남습니다. 글쎄 저한테 재밌는 점? 약간 저는 재미랑은 좀 거리가 먼 사람이라서 그냥 재밌는 점은 잘 모르겠고 그냥 하스를 열심히 한다? 굉장히 많이 열심히 한다 정도. 타일러한테 한마디 하고 한다면은 그러니까 제가 처음에 그 타일러를 그 폴 챔피언십 때 약간 사심이라 해야 되나? 이제 둘 중 하나가 올라가면 나머지 하나가 라스트 컬로 간다는 그런 이제 약간 허망한 꿈 같은 거를 가지고 있었는데 이제 계속 응원하다 보니까 이 친구가 좀 잘 됐으면 좋겠는 거예요. 근데 이번에 약간 그 타일러 입장에서는 아쉽게 끝났잖아요. 그래서 좀 이제 그랜드 마스터 때는 좀 더 좋은 결과 있었으면 좋겠고 이 말을 제가 영어 공부를 해서 직접 말하고 싶네요.
It's Shaxy versus Tyler. Game number 2 coming right up, and both players are sticking to their primary rogue deck. Not too much of a surprise, Derek, because the secondary and tertiary is so far built for other matchups. The mirror, I don't even really know what you'd add outside of maybe weapon removal in the mirror. That's there's just not much you're really going to change. So both players stick on the primary, and we're going to get straight into it. Make up for some lost time a little bit earlier. Tyler 1-0 so far, going to be on the top of the screen. And both players are playing exactly mirrored deck.
They are indeed, not even switching off their primary, as you said. One of the things I don't like about this mirror match, it has to be said, is the dependence on the coin. I know that often comes into play in mirror matches, but it feels especially highlighted at this point. However, Tyler does not have on the coin any of the blowout victory cards or super powerful cards on the coin, like Edwin or Miscreant so far. So it's more of a fair game so far, I would say.
See now, double Novice Engineer. Not going to be played out, just going to get that dagger on and kill off this Novice Engineer, because what this does as well is it helps the potential Shadow Step draw into Miscreant, whereas Tyler, as you said, there's nothing overly remarkable about his hand. He doesn't need to rush out these Novice Engineers at all.
Yeah.
But now he could just use coin to activate Miscreant. Is that so bad?
Like, there's no way to kill the Spirit of the Shark in the Rogue, so it never dies until the following turn. What's the upside of having Shark in play?
I guess
Novice, as it currently stands, right?
Yeah, I think the selling point here for Tyler is he can play Shark. It 99.9999% of the time lives, especially because there's no, say, Pilfer or whatever. So it lives, basically. Then double Novice Engineer for a lot of card draw if he wants. And then most importantly, I think, it's because he has a second one. He doesn't need to get ultimate value from the Shark. He just wants to do stuff that's more powerful. Although, no rogue specialist myself, I don't know whether just coin Miscreant was just fine.
I'm going to go and coin Miscreant into obviously a lackey as well, then curve into Shark. But then the thing is, like, that doesn't get that much more benefit than just going for the draw on this turn.
Oh, now he could Shadow Step Shark and then Shark Miscreant next turn.
That's
he
interesting.
Would very much run out of hand space if he did that, but that's the kind of insane value you can do with this deck when you start just utilizing the power of the Shark.
I like that. At first I was looking at like Step Novice, but obviously that's even more hand space issues you're running into. And like, the real powerhouse of Spirit of the Shark is with lackeys. Like, it's not with drawing 2 cards for 2 mana. That's good. Obviously, that's powerful. It's not enough to win you the game on the spot.
Well, also, Miscreant specifically, because the value gets more than double, right?
Absurd,
because you double the double and then double the value from each lackey, and then it starts going really, 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 really silly. Oh, okay. Pretty solid evolve there, actually. 4-5.
Hearing I've got to save the best for last just makes me shudder every time I hear it. Another Pavlovian response.
What's interesting to me now is, if we just review the game, where we're up to right now, Shaxy seems to be the aggressor, Tyler going for much more slower and more high value plans.
I would agree.
With this pickup of SI7 agent, it does mean with the Shark you can go for it. And again, this Shark just probably does not die, which means he can do the more value stuff next turn. But Shaxy is in control of this.
He's keeping up very well.
He might not be there, all the way down to Value Town, but we can see a waggle pick in hand. He has the board. He can go face with this 4-5, which means he's just getting the damage done. And you can have all the lackeys and value in the world. If you're dead, you cannot continue the game.
However, I would say that the plays Tyler has gone for have not been designed to be especially powerful yet. They were designed to lead up to super powerful turns.
But is Shaxy going to give him
the weird thing is, he still doesn't actually have the ability to go for that powerful of a turn. Without Vendetta, Hench Clan Burglar becomes probably too slow. And just like Snip Snap Edwin is not very good. I mean,
The mana doesn't add up, does it? None of the mana adds up to anything that nice.
Are these plays from Tyler too slow? Maybe it should have just been coin Miscreant on 3. It was never just play Miscreant on 3, right? That's just bad.
No, because he didn't have the second Miscreant at that point.
Yeah.
He drew the Miscreant the following turn on 4. But yeah, I don't know. Do you? For me, if someone told me you can trade coin in the mirror to get Miscreant and the 2 lackeys, I'd do it. And your opponent doesn't get the coin. That is a play I would make. I don't know if Shark's better, but for me, it's a whole lot of value. And Shaxy's gone, enjoy your value, friend. I'm going to punch you in the face while you wait.
Oof. What Tyler has done with this play, though, which I actually didn't realize, which is very smart, is makes it extremely likely that there is a mech on the board on the following turn, be it Snip Snap or one of the microbots. And Shaxy might be in an instance here where he has to just say, Lord, do I pray you don't have Ziliax, and Tyler has the punish for that.
But look at the hand. He's got Head Crack. He's got Life Drinker, Shadow Step, Life Drinker. He has 2 Kobold lackeys to deal 4 damage. Like, Shaxy just has damage in hand.
Yeah.
It's insane. And you know, is our Ziliax, going to do enough in this game? Mainly because
never underestimate Ziliax.
Well, I think the tipping point is that Shaxy has his own Ziliax, which can help trade and not heal.
Fair. Yeah, or just kobolds and yeah, all that good stuff.
I just mean, you know, he can push 3 and not give him any heal and then do other things.
This is just kind of insane, though. Even just the heal for 5. Maybe it's not enough, though.
Like, look, Ziliax and a lackey, gone.
Yeah.
Gone. There's your heal for not all the game because of Life Drinkers, but it's your largest point of heal for the game. And Shaxy's on 27, and now he can bounce a Miscreant for even more stuff. Or bounce the Ziliax, maybe.
This has just been very slow from Tyler. He's kind of swinging back now, and he even has Shark Life Drinker this turn, which is obviously pretty strong. But like you said, Shaxy has a very powerful response.
He's giving himself a chance at just bouncing this lackey as well.
It's true.
So he trades, he goes face, he can bounce.
Deliver lethal with it.
He can bounce the lackeys at 6, and then he has 2 more mana, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is he 1 off? No, it's 13, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, that's adding up wrong. Oh, he bounces it, and he can Shadow Step it.
Yeah, he didn't even have enough mana, even if he got, or he didn't have enough damage, sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit of damage off, but not much.
Not much, yeah. It's getting very, very close. He'll probably want to save the Shadow Step to go Drinker, Step Drinker for a little bit of extra damage. But that is, I mean, that's just 10 damage from hand,
he can,
right?
he can Drinker, Kobold, right?
Just 10 damage. And so Tyler has to heal above that health total, which he does. This play keeps him alive just about, I think. Oh.
Life Drinker Walls.
How much damage is this? It's the same, right? That doesn't up the damage.
No, you don't have the mana.
There's no mana. Yeah. Oh no, wait. He could step the Kobold now, right? He can go Life Drinker, Kobold, Kobold.
Shadow Step Kobold. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 12, 13, 14. 1 off.
1 off.
Whoa. But then, if that's the case, do you kill this Life Drinker so it can't be stepped?
Probably. Yes.
Because he's still got Head Crack, right?
So maybe he does that this time. Like, he doesn't have to put his opponent to 1 here. He can still go
exactly,
for
yeah. He can just like do Vendetta or whatever, and then he's got Head Crack. He's got a Life Drinker, Head Crack, Kobold, Shadow Step, Kobold. In whatever order you fancy.
And there I
like
was earlier today saying that Rogue is not much of a burn deck anymore.
I think it is if someone passes for about 4 turns in the game.
Yes.
Which is effective. No, not strictly what Tyler's done, of course, but effectively turned out that way.
Right. Let's go digging. Tyler has to find some heal. Or lethal, which I think is a little bit out of the question.
Or
Even with
timeout.
Shock.
Which
Or
is neither.
timeout. I mean, we've seen that already represented on the Hedgehog Burglar today. But he's got 2 options here to find it. Hounds for damage, I don't think gets there. Hidden Wisdom could like maybe mess with Shaxy's thinking a little bit. None of these do it though.
Beast of Wrath means he could play the Blink Fox and get a trade.
Fair.
Not that he needs to.
Yeah, I think I like the Innovate.
Just going to bait into Cleave.
I don't think Blink Fox can find anything. I mean, Blink Fox into Pilfer, into heal.
And that heal would have to be very specific.
Yes.
But if he goes for it now because he could get heal in the form of, like you said earlier, the Lightforge Blessing. He could get the Priest 1 mana heal. Or he could get 1 million Lackeys.
Yeah, I think what he's more likely to do is this, which is just pray that the damage isn't there. He doesn't know that he's dead, of course. And this does set up lethal for the following turn.
Reasonably so with an 18-18.
Yes, definitely makes it more likely to get lethal next turn. However, Shaxy's got the goods. And he evens it up.
He does, even it up 1 and 1. And again, you just wind it back, right? Did Tyler have the right to play that slowly in a mirror match when your opponents are running waggle picks? Because that really is the one card that pushes it over the edge for me. Is like just one, having the ability to play waggle pick does not just 8 damage, but often more because of the Shadow Step Death Rattle ability of that card. Often leads to more damage one way or another, whether that's bouncing a Shark, a Lackey, a Life Drink, or an SI. It's so much extra damage, and Rogue doesn't have, if you're not running weapon removal, remember earlier in GM, a lot of the Rogues had like Blood Cell Corsair because they were playing Raiding Party and stuff like that. So if you're not running any weapon removal, you just freely go face unless there's a Zilliax there, like every turn. I think Shaxy played it very well, and I think the second he saw the coin shark, he was like, well, if you have that and I have waggle picks, you enjoy your value. I'm just going to play aggro, and the evolve into the Yeti, of course, was pretty nice.
It was a weird turn from Tyler because I was going to say that he got kind of unlucky with his draws, because if he'd got lower value stuff, cheaper cards, he would have been able to turbo out his hand a little bit quicker. But looking at the deck list, it's not like the Rogue decks of old where you had preps in there as well, like 1 mana Cold Bloods or whatever. It's a relatively heavy deck. At least it's clubbed around the mid-range of 3 or 4 mana. And so there weren't actually that many draws outside of exactly Backstab that allowed him to play his hand quicker there. Like, I'd say he got a very average draw off of the Novice Engineers.
Funnily enough, if he coined Miscreant, he would have some cheaper things to then play.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, with his line of going for Coin Shark into double Novice Engineer, it meant there weren't many draws that allowed him to get the space in hand for all those lackeys.
Yeah, it's just it just goes to show that there's so many decks at the moment. It's this Hunter, most of the top tier decks with Mage, of course, as well. It's like there's just so many different paths you can go down, and small little things you can do that can either close out games for you, or close the game in your face, basically, as you can give your opponent too much of an opening. But I believe both players are almost certainly going to stick on their primary deck. Ooh, good timing. They have just had confirmation that they are sticking, and we are just going to go into game 3, and it's just going to be a flat mirror all the way, even down to the card choices for both these players. Coming down to game number 3, and Tyler, again, may not 100% always need this exact win, but he'll really want it because it makes his life a little bit easier and a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, I'll go away and make sure I do the homework, my homework for tonight, because it gets much more complicated with the match we had earlier today of Blood Trail winning over Glory, as to how it all shakes out. But yes, as you said, an important win for Tyler nonetheless.
Yeah, now we see on this side of town, Shaxy on the coin, but Spirit of the Shark being kept in his opening hand with the coin. So we might see Shaxy in a, funnily enough, way, coin out Spirit of the Shark.
Yeah, that's not something you always see, actually, on with the Rogue, because I remember seeing a lot of Rogue players who I respect a lot playing this Rogue deck, not keeping Shark on the coin. And at first I remember thinking, that seems pretty weird, like, because my initial reaction was that this deck is pretty much built around the heart of Spirit of the Shark, where there's so many battle crying combo effects. You want to abuse those as much as possible. But I think then what I realized is that the Shark is like the flashy part of the deck. That's like what the deck is named after a lot of the time, like you call it Shark Rogue. But the heart is Evil Miscreant, really, is the key part of the deck that you're building most of your strategy around. And so that's what players were going for. And Edwin is what players were going for a lot of the time.
Would you prefer if the card was Spirit of the Heart? No?
No.
Do you ever watch Captain Planet?
I've never seen Captain Planet, sorry. I've watched Captain America. Is that the same thing?
No, Captain Planet's, I think, although I am a fan, is better than Captain America. Because it's so bad.
Oh. Well, I mean,
it's an old cartoon about environmental awareness.
Yeah. I've like.
You're aware
one of
of
them
it.
has the power of heart or something.
Yes,
and it's like
the
a bit
power.
lame
As a kid, if we played Captain Planet, no one wanted to pick. That was last pick
Right.
for who you wanted to be.
Yeah.
There was like Earth, Water, Fire, Heart. His power was to be friendly about things. No one wanted that power. But anyway, let's get back to the game. I don't quite understand how I got to this place.
Me neither.
Take us on a trip away from it. We had our visit, and let's get back into this game of Hearthstone.
Hey, do you remember when Tyler went coin Spirit of the Shark into double Novice Engineer? I wonder if Shaxy will do the same thing.
Funny if you just coin Vendetta, and you're like, oh, I
Interesting.
just didn't see that coming. I'm kind of thrown back. Yeah, he's going to go coin Shark. And
I mean, it's probably
even
Birdlet.
Hench Clan, yeah.
It's
Hench
probably
Clan's just not
Birdlet he's
bad.
leading into, yeah. Because he can go for Vendetta as well. Crystology? Does that... Oh, Crystology's pretty nuts, right? That draws him... That draws a bunch of stuff. Crystology's insane. Imagine being able to play Crystology on Rogue
It'll draw double...
and hit Miscreant like every game.
Yeah, Miscreant, Novice Engineer, and one Cable Rat is in the deck.
Insane. Wow.
But now you can already see like almost deja vu from the previous game where Tyler's applying a decent amount of pressure and Shaxy played out the Shark. But now most things he does outside of very good lackeys, he can't really react to this board quickly, which means oh, nice combo. Oh, now rush the rat. Rush the rat. Not Russian rat, just rush the rat. Before anyone misquotes me. Wow, that turned out very good.
That was ridiculous.
Oh my.
Even the cloak scale chemist is good.
And even the fact that he didn't have to use his dagger because the Spirit of the Shark gave it +2 and not +1 was perfect.
Wow. Okay.
Shaxy's like, Tyler, when you coin out Shark, this is the kind of play you make.
I mean, Tyler can say, okay, I hear you. I'll do the same
yeah,
thing
you
now.
know what? Let me give it a whirl.
Shark rat.
Imagine if you got Hyena somehow. You'd just be like, what? No, you could. Imagine. You can't rush it though, which feels bad.
No.
Does he have to plus up this snip?
Yeah.
Or the mole, probably. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
The mole, the rat. Too much dynamo.
he just has to kill off the shark. It's so sad.
Oh, the shark?
Surely.
Yeah, I guess so.
But he can step the goblin and do both, right? Yeah. Okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, this is actually just overall way better.
Oh, this yeah.
Because the hyena's just a lot of damage, and we've seen what happens when damage gets pushed.
I agree that this is important to kill off. It's just sad for Tyler that his Spirit of the Shark is getting abused so much less in terms of the power level. I suppose he gets 2 turns of it, whereas Shaxy gets 1 turn.
It's just a weird sentence. He's sad that his Spirit of the Shark is getting abused less. He's just a sentence that does, for me, doesn't fit, but
I do
makes
need
sense.
to come up with a better word than abusing, because I mean,
yeah.
like, abusing the effect that Shark gets you for an unfair advantage or a powerful advantage.
Blizzard?
These are all
Honest-
well, Inner Rage and Blizzard, I'd say, are both tempting here.
Yeah. Blizzard, for me, although expensive, generally not what you want as Rogue, it does a hell of a job, doesn't it? You know, especially if you're behind, just to stall 1 turn and maybe put together something else is pretty powerful. But Shaxy overall has a decently powerful turn itself, clearing this board, leaving just the Shark for Tyler. But now he does have a way to just rebuild this board.
I think if Shaxy was playing prep in the deck, Blizzard would be very, very tempting, even just for the potential draw of a 3-mana freeze. But I agree overall that this is probably a slightly better pick.
I hope you
Probably.
like my invention.
Although maybe Blizzard was just better. Inner Rage doesn't do much. It's cheap though, I guess.
Ooh! It's a good one.
That's insane! That's so good! Actually, I guess it dies off pretty quick. Oh, that could have been insane. Armorsmith is like nearly always the best card you can get.
What?
It's so good in so many matchups.
Yeah, it was, for me, I was wondering whether the novices were worth it straight off the bat, and whether you just try and go wide again with like the double faceless lackey. And you just saw Shaxy use a lot to trade off the board, or a good chunk, and then you just make another board of 2 drops.
Would have run out of Woodsmith, right? He would have only got 1 trigger off the second.
I guess.
Faceless. Yeah, I think this is good. Because as long as Tyler has the ability to fend off aggression here, having a big hand is very, very valuable, I would say. Because this is looking like it could end up being a bit of a grind fest.
Backstab, not bad.
So with Shark gone, like backstab Miscreant is a possibility now. Ooh. These are some pretty premium 2-drops being generated for Tyler. And for Shaxy as well, actually, with the Hyena.
Coming to a tavern brawl near you, it's just Lackey Wars, which is basically what this matchup can devolve into.
I watch Lackey Wars. Or substitute the hole in my heart, the Robot Wars left.
Isn't something similar to Robot Wars on Twitch now?
Probably. I mean, watching it as a kid, I probably wouldn't even be a kid.
Oh, I like it. Robot's fine. I remember some of my favorites. They were cool. I always wanted to make one, and I realized
It's impossible. I'm just.
I tried to make one out of wood, and was like, this is not going to work very well.
Wait a second, there's a key component missing from my robot here. Move, tree bot.
It's true stories. I was young, okay?
I'm just imagining young baby Raven in the wasteland of Manchester, poking a piece of wood and crying.
One every day, Derek. One every day.
Yeah.
Wasteland of Manchester. I take offense.
Yeah, I apologize.
Wasteland's way too nice, I think, to call it.
Hellscape is much more appropriate.
Hey, Manchester's all right.
Manchester is actually very nice. And Shaxy here kind of just keeping up with the texture of this game, I suppose, so far, which is generating more value. This is much more what I associate with Rogue nowadays than the last couple of games, where it's been very aggressive on one side or the other, or both sides actually in the first game.
Yeah, I think this is turned into just one of those evenly matched fights, like, but you know, boxing of just like someone punches them and then someone punches them back, and then that just continues for quite a while. And it's just stayed very even. I do think Tyler needs to equip one of these waggle picks fairly quickly. I think it's just having that flexibility. There we go, perfect. Having that flexibility of the weapon swing every turn, and then even potentially the shadow step bounce effect is just too powerful to leave on the side, right? You want to get them equipped. It is expensive in mana, but get it equipped now, and you can start doing some pretty powerful things as follow-up.
That's another very good 2-drop coming off the Faceless there, unfortunately. Not able to be, the effect not able to be utilized by Tyler. And I think that the one thing I really want to see from both players is making sure, probably, that they set up for High Sparrow and Togwaggle. Holding onto a Lackey, I think, is very important, because in this very even state, where, like you said, very back and forth, no player coming with a clear advantage at this point in the game, High Sparrow and Togwaggle could be the difference maker.
Because if not for anything more, then you could do more stuff than your opponent on your next turn. Like, you could just, at the moment, both players are just limited by their mana, because they're not limited by hand size.
Absolutely
until
not.
Maybe now for Shaxy, he's just not got much. But they're not limited by that, they're limited by mana, and the one just cheats. So does that card too.
That definitely cheats. And Tyler did need something like that, because despite his very large hand size, you know, he's falling behind on board.
I wonder if this is
he's
one
far
drop
from defenseless.
One drop into some kind of like SI swing.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. He wants to, like, he really wants a backstab here, to be honest, to be able to activate the SI first and then swing.
Oh, is Tyler gonna? If he plays Life Drinker, surely Tyler's just turning up the heat and trying to play aggressive.
Well, he could go Life Drinker and then SI the Blink Fox and be pretty happy with either swing. I'd probably just prefer. Would I prefer Lackey? Because he kind of wants to save Ethereal Lackey to go with the Shark, more so than just playing it out now. But maybe we should just see Shark. We could see Shark, SI, Ethereal Lackey, swing, play whatever. Yeah. I like this.
Oh, Henchcon. Timeout.
Ooh, timeout's
nice.
Very juicy.
Go for the double evolve. You're gonna leave the board as is, and that's unfortunate. That's a very low-powered 6-drop.
Huh.
The thing here is, or the redeeming point is, Tyler, one, has timeout, so he can just delay the game a turn. There's nothing that Shaxy can do about it.
I hope you like my
But he's invested this turn in the Shark. And then next turn can start to get awfully funky.
Yeah, well, can it actually? Like, it's easy to say that Shark does broken stuff. What does it actually do with this hand from Tyler? Like, SI7 Agent can't target two different things, and that's what he needs, right? He needs an answer to a wide board.
I was just thinking life drinker, swing, maybe life drinker,
Okay.
which is,
Fair enough. Yeah.
what, 18 damage?
That's a
with
good
the
point,
Shark
actually.
being down
Yeah.
and 18 healing, which is absurd, which negates the attack this turn.
And now that he has got timeout,
like my invention.
Tyler can afford to just go, or be more inclined, sorry, to just go for the all-out burn plan and race Shaxy.
Because if he just plays double life drinker and then swings, he has a 2 out of 3 chance of being able to replay life drinker, and
Yeah.
that is just nutty. And look at this board. This board is not really threatening from Shaxy.
It's pretty threatening. I think even without the 3 drops coming in, this had to be dealt with by Tyler, or he had to race face.
I mean, this definitely raises his
Speak of,
face.
Yeah.
Look at it, it's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Maximum chance to bounce the drinker. Yeah, this is actually insane.
Yeah, this is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
he bounced
okay.
the Shark.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad as in the play, it's just an unfortunate outcome that
Right, sorry,
it was
yeah, yeah.
likely to get the life drinker. And if you got the life drinker, if you imagine that's just a -6 on Shaxy's board, which puts Shaxy to 6 health, and there's another waggle pick and an SI next turn. It literally set up lethal if it worked. But he can try and just do something similar next turn anyway.
And Shaxy is far from defenseless now with the life drinker and the Ziliax. Plenty of ways to wrestle back onto this board and still push a lot of damage face.
What a slobber knocker.
This is an exciting game. And Tyler's game plan here of that last turn he made before this one, where he ignored the board. He did not play SI7 Agent to clear the board. He very clearly said, my game plan now is go face. And I have to be honest, I didn't really see that as a valid option. I thought he was going to carry on fighting for board. But the way it's worked out, even with the maximum punish, pretty much, of Ziliax and Life Drinker for Shaxy to heal up, it's not that bad.
I mean,
He's
he has
still in with a
Shark
shot.
down again.
Right.
He can do a lot of stuff. He's got
Exactly.
the Ethereal Lackey. He has a Sap. He has the weapon again.
Yeah.
You know, he has Timeout to buy 1 turn if he really wants. Like, that's still a lot of stuff. And one thing Timeout does is buys Tyler time if he wants to pick a high-costed Discover, right? Because it'll give him the time to actually play it. Oh, was that Vendetta as well? Oh, that's a good one.
It's always Ethereal Lucky to start off with here. Ooh.
Knives that are fanny. That's going to be able to clear off all the 1/1s. And with the Vendetta as well, he can just take care of this Ziliax without any
Or even
heal.
with the Inner Rage. You could just go Inner Rage into Phantom.
Oh, wait,
Blast on this board.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait, what's going on?
The Betrayal as well is huge.
Was this just the best turn ever?
This was ridiculous.
Look at...
the Edwin as well.
Is this
What is occurring?
just one of the most singularly powerful Discover turns I've ever seen? Out of nowhere.
Yes, is the answer to that.
I don't think I've seen much of a more powerful turn. The Sap, though, for the Van Cleave. What's going on?
And it's quite a necessary one at a 22-22 stat line.
It's... This I thought the game was going to end soon. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I thought we were reaching boiling point.
Yeah.
And both players, after what I assume is going to be a Sap right now, are going to just negate it again.
I think Tyler's moving towards a win pretty quickly here.
It was just nowhere near as fast as I thought it was
Yes,
going to be.
I agree.
Ooh.
So what are the
'Cause
plays here?
there's still double Vendetta, which, yes, there's no Discovers, but it's still 4-mana killer thing.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Like,
But
just Sap Vendetta the Shark.
what does Waggle Pick's better, right?
But Waggle Pick can go face.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You never leave the Shark up, right? Yeah.
No. You've just seen what happens when you leave the Shark. Like, that,
I just
that
thought,
couldn't have
like,
gone any worse
well,
for Shaxy.
If Shaxy wanted to set up damage right, he could go Waggle Pick face there because both Life Drinkers have been played by Tyler, so the heal is very, very limited. But I agree. This is probably still better.
This is still
But
an
he
empty
could have set
board.
up he could have set up an out for Leroy. It's worth pointing out.
But now Tyler can push that. Oh, it's so close.
It's so close.
It's insane.
And that timeout for Tyler could be the difference maker.
It really could, because it does the freeze mage effect, right?
Yeah.
Because the deck wants to play in that way where it's, you
Ignores
push damage,
board.
set up lethal, and then timeout just is a active ice block. And it's not like the most of the time you see timeout is, or at least timeouts be interacted with, is when it's a paladin mirror and they both play timeout. So, you know, you can go, okay, you timeout, I timeout, let's carry on the game later. But that can't happen unless Shaxy discovers something crazy. And this might just be too much. Even a Peru.
Do you really not just throw down prep there?
I don't think you need to.
With nothing, like literally just to give a +2/+2 to Edwin.
Oh, there is.
Surely that was
Backstab,
better, right?
Vendetta. Well, does he want to be able to do bigger things with like prepping to timeout for 1 mana? And then he has Blink Fox Discover with SAP with SI.
Huh.
Right, so he can Blink Fox, SI, prep timeout SAP next to.
Yeah,
Right, he can do everything,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
insane.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I'm not saying he needs to do it all in one turn, but does 2/2? I mean, 2/2 does matter because we can see that backstabbing to Vendetta clears the cleave.
Oh, man.
But I think now Shaxy has to backstab Vendetta and swing the Waggle Pick to face.
Absolutely,
I don't
yes.
think I cannot. Like, yeah, he can't trade now. It's just this game becomes.
Oh, he's playing around Ziliax. He's playing around Ziliax by holding on to the backstab here. Does that work?
Oh, what he's doing as well is the bounce of the Van Cleef is worse. Oh.
That does it. That's lethal. Leroy Edwin swing closes things out. And such an important win there for Tyler after
Wow.
a ridiculous series. Remember back to game 1 where he top decks the SI for viable SI lethal.
What a game of
Didn't even have to
Hearthstone.
go for that, but
Like,
whatever.
that is just, I don't know, that game was so back and forth.
Yeah.
And so even. It wasn't even back and forth in that one player was demolishing and then the other player was demolishing the back. It was just even. It just felt like just fair throughout. Well, no, they weren't doing fair things, but the power level was fair from both sides. And it was just so back and forth. It was insane. What a way to end the series.
Absolutely. And it gets so interesting there for Tyler because his the decision, the turn that I highlighted, where he goes all face, ignores the board of 1/1s and doesn't play the SI7 agent, it worked out for him this time. That's because he hit exactly Fan of Knives into the Betrayal as well to clear off that entire board from Shaxy. And I have to be honest, I think in the average outcome there, Shaxy probably would have wrestled back board, maybe would have healed enough, and possibly the timeout could have been enough to wrestle Tyler back into the game. But I'm not sure. Maybe Tyler should have carried on wrestling for board.
It's funny though, right? Because, like, yes, he had to do something crazy to get back because of how wide the board was, especially with the 3/3s. The Betrayal was huge, of course. But Shaxy needed to have like Ziliax and heal or he was dead because Tyler just set up 2-turn from hand as well. So Tyler didn't need the minions to stick.
That's true.
If he would have bounced that Life Drinker, it was pretty certainly game unless it was exactly Ziliax. So both, like I said, it was just such an even game. I'm kind of glad, even though like I said, I wasn't sure when that was going to end, to be honest, because the sheer amount of value that Rogue can generate. The fact that the game felt so long, and not in a bad way again, and both players just didn't fatigue, just feels weird. But that's because both players can generate and do so much every single turn that it's not like they're passing turns at any point, right? It's not like, oh, okay, I'm just going to hero power pass this turn. It's like, no, I have 18 cards to do things with. So crazy match. And like I said, for Shaxy, won't be happy to lose. No one's ever happy to lose when they're playing at this level, especially. But he was safe anyway. So the fact that Tyler got a win there was huge. And I believe we have Tyler standing by now. So we will... Tyler, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, mate.
Woo.
So congratulations on that win. That was a huge win for you to just continue to be in the running as well for this top 3 spot. But I just want to ask, that last game, what are games like that like? With the stakes of what's on the line right now, that last game was insane. But what was it like for you to sit there and play it?
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Because like the first few games, like it went so fast, and one player just had the edge and just beat up the other player. So that last game is very weird for Rogue Mirrors. I don't think it often comes down to that. And even towards the end, like we both had like multiple outs. Like we had enough healing and like we had Zilly access, so it went really long. Like on one of the few last turns, I had the option to play around Leroy's Shadow Step and
Yeah.
Dagger. Like I would have died to that, but he only had 2 cards in his hand that were from his deck, so didn't seem worth it to me. But that's probably the only turn I would have to look back at. Yeah.
Okay, and Derek and I were talking a little bit earlier because there are a few decks that work like this, but in the meta right now, with just the amount of card generation and craziness that can go on across multiple decks, how do you feel you can prepare, or how at all if you can prepare for games that go like this? You know, if you're playing Burgle Rogue, how do you even get to the point where you feel confident with all the many outcomes that can happen?
I think it's just about playing a lot of games. I think it's just like grinding it out and then getting into this scenario often enough that you just realize, what the play is. But it's definitely very difficult. I don't have an exact answer for that.
Nice, cool.
Well, I mean, the meme is about you, right? That you are the grinder, the original Hearthstone grinder. So I know that you've, I believe, are you back home in Vietnam now?
Yeah, I'm back home, and I have to like admit I haven't been grinding as much. And
Right.
honestly, I just want Blizzard to bring ladder back. I just miss ladder. Like, not having ladder just killed me as a grinder, man.
I miss you streaming, buddy. I can't quite bring myself to unsub, but I need something here. This is a give and take relationship.
All right, I'm back home, Derek, so I'll make up for it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it'll be one of those Derek-only streams just for you. And
Just for me.
There you go. But no, congratulations on the win, Tyler. Good job. It was a crazy match, super fun to watch, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya. Okay, well, what an ending to today. I mean, there's been a ton of crazy matches going on, but that last game was just...
Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask Tyler about his choice to coin Spirit of the Shark as well. Maybe I'll message him about that as well, because I want to know if he thinks that was a mistake or just didn't pan out for him in that particular instance. You know, it's difficult to not be results-oriented.
Especially with the fact that, like, Shaxy made pretty much the same play. It's like,
right,
well, if two good players do this...
I mean, he went for the Cable Rat play instead with double...
Oh, sure. I just mean like the keep of the Spirit of the Shark with like going into it early-ish anyway. But let's check out the results. We can ask him. He'll tell us. We can check out the results for the day, and it's exactly what went on here. Alutimu just continuing to impress. We've got a lot of good players in APAC, but Alutimu, I think, over this season of Grandmasters has just been going from strength to strength, and another 2-0 victory with, I would say, what is now his signature deck, the Mage, and just confident, strong play that has no real major faults that, as far as I can see.
Yeah, still absolutely love watching him play the Mage. It's one of the decks I think that when piloted well is the most enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. And like you said, Alutemu, I'm glad that he's making the transition from players that good players talk about to, or players that respected players talk about, to respected player. Because he was always behind the scenes. And whenever you ask the ladder grinders of last year, like, you know, who do you think is one of the best players in the Asia-Pacific region? Machamp, as his name was back then, was always brought up as the premier grinders in APAC. But I'm glad he's getting his spot here, as we've seen a lot of players in with chance and locked out. Division A is now decided with Staz coming in third place, Surrender and Alutemu coming in first and second. Tomorrow, we're going to be finding out who is able to take that third place in Division B.
Yeah, but let's just take a look at the standings now. I'm going to presume these are up to date, inclusive of the actual tiebreakers. So you can see there, Alutimu, Surrender, and Staz. Top 3 right now in Division A, and with the players who I believe have a game left, cannot get any of the wins anyway that are left, so can't go up to 8. So Division A, those are your top 3. But we do have some matches to finish off the week, of course, tomorrow. But Shaxy 10-3 did just take a loss to Tyler, but still that is an incredible record of 10-3. You know, looking pretty good, and he can actually make that record a little bit better, as there is still one more match for Shaxy to play out. So we could go to a high score of 11-3 based on tomorrow.
That is correct, and however, because of the matches today, with Blood Trail winning, Tyler winning, and Glory losing, all of those players going to 7-6, and even Blitzchung winning. I have to look at the matches because I'm not sure if tomorrow Glory and
Blitzchung lost, right? Yesterday?
Won, right? We didn't interview him because
sorry, I do go off
his
interviews
connection
sometimes. Sorry, Blitzchung won. Yes.
Blitzchung did win, but we'll have to look at exactly how it plays out with Tyler playing Blitzchung. I mean, I think if tiebreakers work out, he still could. But either way, we'll get into that tomorrow as the fight for third place commences. Yeah,
it will. But yeah, it's been another good day of Hearthstone for us, and a nice ending for that last match. If you were just tuning in maybe to catch EU, or something. Just
How
watch the
dare you.
last Rogue game. Yeah, I can't believe you do that to us. But make sure you watch that last Rogue game because it was just crazy in every way. But from Derek and myself, we are done for the day. Go and swing by the EU broadcast on this Twitch channel, same place. It's just going to be right after us, so don't go anywhere. And there'll be more Hearthstone coming up. But we will see you tomorrow.